the moon, sun, and stars and planets of the constellation Virgo and Leo were in alignment, in what is referred to as the sign of Revelation 12, which was observable above the horizon in the city of Jerusalem. Many astronomical experts have indicated that the alignment was a one-time event, never to occur again. But there are some physicists and astronomers who have stated that this particular alignment has occurred 4 times in the past 1,000 years. Now, those who are familiar with this date know that it marks the end of the Jewish feast of Rosh Hashanah. But the end times theory that some prognosticators have fixated on is not mentioned in the Jewish books. And so we remain vigilant because no one in this world knows when that day will come. Here is something worth noting for those who keep vigil over celestial events of such importance as the September 23rd alignment. In biblical prophecy, there is mention of a destructive event of unimaginable magnitude that will come upon the earth in the latter days. In the Jewish calendar, September 23rd of this year marks the Feast of the Trumpets. On this date, a number of game-changing events occurred in history, such as the Israelites freed from slavery and Daniel seeing the vision of judgment. Those who truly know the significance of this particular date then understand that this event marks the beginning of the Great Tribulation, in which many signs will appear in the sun, moon, and stars, a time when nations will be perplexed by the magnitude of the events that will take place on the earth. So if you look around you today, do you not see these events happening as was foretold in Revelations? The book of Matthew has actually paved the way for those who are wavering or who are in distress. Be not troubled, for all things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So herein lies the key phrase, but the end is not yet. Therefore, we can relate this verse to present-day happenings. We should not be caught up in the hysteria of determining a date for events of such importance. Rather, as I have said many times, we should concentrate on observing and then embracing the signs that are provided to us as an indication of what is to come, events that will transpire at a time of divine intervention, and not that of our own choosing. Several elite news organizations, such as the Express, the Daily Sun, the Daily Star, and various tabloid newspapers, have managed to sensationalize and manipulate stories pertaining to Planet X. And they've done this in order to line their pocketbooks and to garner notoriety. The media organizations have falsely accused Planet X researchers of concocting unsubstantiated dates for its appearance in the heavens and its relationship to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Their rationale for debunking the Planet X saga stems from an internet video by Dr. David Norrison, a NASA scientist who claims that there is no evidence for the existence of Planet X. Listen carefully to his rationale for the non-existence of Planet X.
Hi, my name is David Morrison. I'm a NASA space scientist, and I want to talk to you very briefly about Nibiru. You know, the simplest thing to say is just that there is no credible evidence whatever for the existence of Nibiru. There are no pictures, there's no tracking, there's no astronomical observations. I can quite specifically say how we know that Nibiru or Planet X does not exist and does not threaten the Earth. First, if there were a planet headed into the inner solar system, it would already be inside the orbit of Mars. It would be bright, it would be easily visible to the naked eye. If it were up there, you could see it. All of us could see it. Second, if Nibiru were real, and it were a planet with a substantial mass, then it would already be perturbing the orbits of Mars and the Earth. We would see changes in those orbits due to this rogue object coming into the inner solar system. Astronomers measure the orbit of Earth and Mars precisely and frequently, and there has been no change whatever. Third, and perhaps most telling, if this object had come through the solar system in the past, and you remember the idea is it's on an orbit of 3,600 years. If it had come through in the past, its gravity would have messed up the orbits of the inner planets. The Earth, Venus, Mars probably would have stripped the moon away completely. Instead, in the inner solar system, we see planets with stable orbits. We see the moon going around the Earth. The very existence of this stability in the inner solar system proves that no rogue planet, no interfering object has come through the inner solar system in at least 1 million years. So it's not real. Nibiru doesn't exist. We can't see it. We can't detect its gravity. And we don't see a signature of its previous passages because there weren't any. So please, get over it. Nibiru isn't real. Planet X isn't real. We don't have to worry about this hoax.
So let's analyze what David Morrison just said. He claims that there is no evidence of the existence of Planet X, either through imagery, tracking, or astronomical observations. This would imply that every image, every video, every eyewitness observation of the existence of Planet X has been fabricated, unequivocally, beyond a shadow of a doubt. That is what he is saying. He is also suggesting that Planet X, if it exists, is heading into the inner solar system within the orbit of Mars. But how would he know that a planet theoretically heading into the inner solar system at the time of this videotape would already be within the orbit of Mars? That would be both confusing and misleading. He then suggests that Planet X is a body that reflects light, and therefore visible to the naked eye. But Planet X is thought to be a brown dwarf that reflects very little light and is only seen through the use of infrared technology, which then poses a serious question. Why is both NASA and the Vatican using infrared telescopes to look into the heavens if Nibiru were a planet that could easily be seen? Finally, he infers that if Nibiru has passed through our solar system in the past, it would have affected the orbits of the other planets, making them unstable, while at the same time throwing us a bone by theorizing that the last time that a rogue planet could have traveled through our solar system was at least 1 million years ago. So that's it. This announcement by a NASA scientist in 2011 was a carefully crafted statement with the aim of putting to bed any further talk about Planet X. Or at least we were led to believe that this was their objective until 5 years later in 2016, when NASA changed their tune from "get over it, it's a hoax" to a surprising statement by the director of planetary science asking for help in locating the elusive Planet X.
I'm Jim Green, Director of Planetary Science at NASA. You know, NASA works with the international science community to explore our solar system and beyond. We look to unravel the mysteries that intrigue us all as we explore and answer the big questions. Questions like, how did the Earth originate and change over time? How did the solar system begin and evolve? And what will be its destiny? What will be our destiny? Last July 14th, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew past Pluto, capping a half-century of exploration of our solar system. It piqued our interest about what lies beyond Pluto and what can we learn about ourselves and the origins of our solar system. The idea of a new planet is certainly an exciting one for me as a planetary scientist, and I think for all of us. The January 20th paper in the Astronomical Journal is fueling our interest in planetary exploration and stimulating a healthy debate that's part of the scientific process. If Planet X is out there, we'll find it together. Or we'll determine an alternate explanation for the data that we've received so far.
So this may very well be a game of deception, which NASA is very good at doing. It casts doubt in people's minds, which makes NASA look credible while making the Planet X community look like a bunch of conspirators, or, as Dr. Morrison publicly stated in January of 2008, a small religious cult who find pleasure in scaring people. There is something equally as important as the NASA and tabloid news nonsense. A series of rebuttals were published on the internet that attempt to argue the merits of the Revelation 12 sign and the importance of the September 23rd alignment. These are arguments which have been disproven time and again. Here's what they argue. They claim the Revelation 12 sign is astrology. Now, anyone who is a Christian scholar will know how blatantly false this statement is. Astrology basically uses pagan practices, such as the horoscope, to worship the sun, moon, and stars. When we refer to celestial signs in the heavens, we acknowledge a divine presence, which has nothing to do with the practice of astrology. They say the September alignment is not unique. The Sun, the Moon, and Jupiter are in Virgo every 11 or 12 years. The conditions of the observed alignment have all shown the complete uniqueness of this sign. It fits perfectly the description given in Revelation 12 and in the book of Isaiah. Every condition of the September 23rd alignment had to be met. The woman, Virgo, must be clothed with the sun. She must have the moon under her feet, and she must have a crown of exactly 12 stars. It then established the uniqueness of this particular alignment as compared to previous years. This is a false prediction or dubious date setting. How often have we heard this rebuttal? Skeptics literally come out of the woodwork to ridicule the perpetrator of a false prediction. Their argument is that since predictions were made in the past that did not transpire, then all future predictions are also false. We all remember the hysteria centered around the Y2K apocalypse and the 2012 Mayan mania by the media. They couldn't get enough of it. But the 2017 signs in the heavens were primarily buried, until the date came and gone, at which time it suddenly became an important story, all for the wrong reasons, of course. Here is something to ponder. If you do not study the signs with an open mind, then how can you possibly teach the truth and learn from one another? What do we ever hope to accomplish by being vindictive and argumentative towards those whose ideals we may not agree with? Here is the factual bottom line on September 23, 2017. An astronomical alignment occurred that perfectly fits the description given by the Apostle John in Revelation 12. It hasn't happened before, and it will not happen again. As you consider these facts, here are your options. You may believe that the alignment is coincidental and irrelevant, that the description in Revelation has nothing to do with our world today, because nothing happened that convinces me that the end is near. The other choice, and it is a simple one, it is neither complex or controversial. You can believe that there is no such thing as coincidences. With all that we know today, with all that has happened this year, and especially since the passage of the Great American Eclipse. Might the prophecy given in the book of Daniel be fulfilled? September 23rd was a significantly important date for our times. It was important not because we are all still here on this planet, but because it reminds us that the fulfillment of the ages usher in many trials and tribulations that our forefathers understood and spoke of throughout generations of time. If we ever hope to understand what our forefathers understood, then we must wake up. If the events that are happening in this world today fail to enlighten us, then what will? End time scenarios will come and go, as they have so many times, because no one knows when that time will be. What we should be focused on are the signs that help prepare the way, that provide the time for us to gain the wisdom and the insight that our forefathers achieved through the study and through observation. So